Alrighty, what's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the 4 to the 7 podcast covering both the Yankees and the Mets. And the first week of the Major League Baseball season is over for both New York teams. The Yankees finished the week. They obviously played last Wednesday. That was their first game. They finished the week at 5-1. The Mets finished the week at 3-3. And in both very different ways. So we'll start with the Yankees. Actually, no, we'll start with the Mets. And get this out of the way. I don't know what to say about this Mets team yet. I think they're going to be fine. I think there's some things that they need to square away early here. Their starting pitching has been pretty good to start. Peralta was very good today in his outing. I think he gave up. Did he only give up the one, if at all? I don't know if that was his run. He had a rough one on opening day, but the Mets roughed up Skeens, so it was like, all right, no big deal. Go get him next time, and he looked really good today. He looked really, really solid today for the Mets. Yeah, he did give up the one earned. That's what I thought. He gave up one run. Same with St. Louis, kind of the same line. And then Huskar Bransbon came in and blew the save. Gave up that unearned that inherited run from Senga. He gave up that inherited run. And then the Mets went on to lose in extra innings. They scored a total. Let's see here. Why is this not working? The Mets in this series scored a total of 5 runs in 3 games. They won 4-2 on Monday, good victory. Lost 3-0 and got shut out by a guy with a 6.5 ERA. And then they lost today 2-1 on a bloop single in the 11th inning with 2 outs that probably should have been caught. And the bigger issue for the Mets has been so far, their defense and base running have been horrific. Robert Jr., the reason they lost yesterday with Senga on the mound, and I just filed a column right before coming on here about Kodai Senga's performance yesterday. I thought it was really good. So for those who don't know, when I mean I have both the Yankees and the Mets this year, I put the Mets normally on my laptop, and I'll have them on, and I'll watch the game, and I'll have the Yankees on the TV. So when I pump out like a post-game story or stuff like that, that's more focused on the Yankees because that's my main. But I watch every Met game as well. And Senga looked really good yesterday, so I dug in a little bit deeper in my story. You can read it tomorrow in Grand Central Mets for Diamond Centric. It's either going to run tomorrow or Friday. I hope tomorrow. Dives into a little bit more of Senga's performance. His fastball was really good. He used kind of a 3-pitch combination yesterday. He used the fastball, the cutter, and then the forkball to put batters away. He kind of lived in the upper quadrant of the zone, which is all in that story. So I encourage you all to check it out when it runs. I'll post it up on socials as I always do. But Senga looked really good. And the most important takeaway, he struck out 7. I put those clips up. I can get those clips here in just a second. The most important thing I thought from Senga's performance, here's the strikeouts. The most important thing from his performance, the biggest takeaway, is that he went 6 innings. He hadn't gone 6 innings since last June. I think either late May or June of last year against the Red Sox up at Fenway where the Mets lost. That was the last time he went 6 innings. So it had been a while. And I mentioned in there, and it's the truth, one of the reasons the Mets collapsed down the stretch last year and did not make the postseason is because their starting pitchers weren't giving them length. It's the truth. Their starting pitchers were not giving length, and it is what it is. So for Senga to give the ability yesterday, in his first start of the year no less, to go 6 innings and be as really good. I mean, the 2 runs he gave up were because Luis Robert Jr. botched 2 balls in center field that should have been caught. And the argument is Luis Robert Jr. is here in New York right now, and both New York teams were in on him. The Yankees had conversations with the White Sox that if Bellinger doesn't come back, let's try. And then obviously Bellinger came back, but the night before, the night before is when the Bellinger talks with the Yankees were really getting somewhere. And that's when the Mets caught wind and pulled the trigger to get Robert. And then obviously about 12 hours ish later, Bellinger the deal was done. That's a fact. But Robert's job is to go out there and play defense. Now he's been pretty good offensively in the early goings. It's a very small sample size of 6 games. He hasn't looked atrocious at the plate. There are definitely guys in that Met lineup, as I'm pulling up his early numbers here on my iPad. There are other guys in that lineup who've looked awful. Yeah, he's batting .316 in the early goings with 5 RBIs, a homer, 6 hits in 19 at bats. That's very good to start. His on base percentage is almost 500. He's slugging .474. Those are pretty good numbers. He looks re-energized being in that lineup. He made a comment the other day that was kind of like a backhanded comment at the White Sox that was a little bit out of line, but it was like it's kind of the truth, where he was like, I'm not used to fans showing up kind of thing. And AJ Pierzynski on Foul Territory, who obviously played for the White Sox and is kind of a White Sox homer, he was like, well, you enjoyed the fans of the White Sox in 2020, 21, when the team was good. You know, I guess you could say that. And he has a point. I mean, they lost hundreds of games. I mean, they were bad. So him coming to the Mets and looking good early is something that, really good. Juan Soto leads the team offensively. This is the offensive rankings according to MLB.com right now. Juan Soto is batting .346. Luis Robert Jr. is batting .316, as we just outlined. Then 99 points under him, the third best hitter in the lineup is Brett Baty, batting .217. Now I get it. It's early. It is really early. But that's a problem. That's a problem. And then Polanco, and then Carson Bench, who has not looked good. Lindor's had a horrible start. Bo Bichette and Marcus Semien have been they have been bad. I mean, Bichette had a big hit on Monday, which is good to see, but he hasn't looked good at all. And obviously, he had the good quotes on Sunday night, which are like, I would have booed myself. I'm shocked it took this long to boo me. And I like those quotes. I really respect that, because you're in a market here. This is in Toronto, respectfully. I get Toronto had their little fun last year. They lost 2 out of 3 of the Rockies this week. They had their little fun last year against, those teams. They backed in because the Yankees played up with their heads up their bums for a month and a half. And that's how they backed in to a bye and rode it through, and good for them. But this isn't Toronto anymore, where criticism can be taken the way it was up there, respectfully. Criticism is going to be taken differently here. This is New York. People care in this market a little bit more than they did up in Toronto. And if you're going to bat 111 to start the season, you're going to hear it. Now, lucky for him, the Mets are going to San Francisco for 4 games. That's a big enough ballpark for him where balls should fall in Triple's alley for him. And the Giants, I watched the Giants last week against the Yankees. They didn't impress me. Their pitching wasn't great. They're not going to face Logan. They might face Logan Webb in the last game of the set. I should actually check. I haven't posted the Mets probables. They'll be up tomorrow morning on socials. MLB press. I'll have tomorrow on socials, as I always do on the first day of a series, who their probable starters are. But I'm going to log in right now to the game notes for the Mets or the Giants. And normally they list whichever back to sign in. Oh, because that's the wrong. That's why. Anyways, the Mets are probably, I think, missing Logan Webb. I think they might even miss Robbie Ray. I think Robbie Ray went today. So that would mean they're definitely missing Logan Webb. Why isn't normally they put the game notes right up? There it is. So the Giants say, okay, they're not missing Ray. Excuse me, and they're not okay. I was totally wrong. So according to the Giants, this is on their game notes. Tomorrow night it'll be David Peterson against Robbie Ray. It'll be Nolan McLean against Tyler Mahle on Friday. It'll be Clay Holmes against Landon Rope on Saturday. And it'll be Cody Sanga against Logan Webb on Sunday. And Webb, even in the game that he won yesterday against the Padres, didn't look phenomenal. That's right. They started Adrian Hauser today. How could I forget him? But the Giants won the series. They took 2 out of 3 against them. So they'll go in at 2-4, I believe, to start the season. That's still third place in that division. That division is, besides the Dodgers, who are losing right now to the Guardians 2-0. Every other team in that division has not looked really great. I mean, the Diamondbacks look good against the Tigers they almost blew the big lead. The Rockies are the Rockies. It's nice that they won against the Blue Jays, though. That always helps. The Rockies are still the Rockies. And you go down the list. RBIs. Soto and Robert lead with 5. Stolen base. Carson Bench leads with 2. They've stolen 3 bases all year. Isn't that supposed to be part of this Mets team? Like last year, Soto stole what, 40 bags? He hasn't stolen a bag yet. And he's been on base. Soto's been the most consistent hitter on this offense. He was on all day today. And he had the home run to give him the one run today was the Soto home run. That if Lindor doesn't get doubled off at first base on that bull asinine play where he's just standing there like a lame duck, kind of like Josh Chisholm in the Yankee game today, and I'll get into that in a minute. He's standing off first base like a lame duck, like he couldn't care less after forgetting how many outs there were in the first inning, where he could have turned the double play and gotten out of the inning. I mean, it didn't cost him, but he could have turned the double play and gotten Freddie out of the first inning. So he forgot how many outs there are, and it's lost an outer space on the base paths. And he's not hitting on top of it. So Lindor's been a complete nothing to start the year. So then he's getting doubled off. Think of it this way. Think of it like this. If Lindor doesn't get doubled off, it's a 2-run home run, and Devin Williams comes in and shuts the door in the 9th inning. And the Mets win 2-1. Instead, or Mendy might not have even gone to Braziban. He might have gone to Luke Weaver. Maybe not Weaver. Anyways, the point is, Lindor's stupid base running cost them a run and cost them the game because it all trickles down. So Lindor has to be better in all facets of the game. And I'm not going to get into this controversy between Soto and Lindor not liking each other. We already know they're not 100% on board with each other. We already know they're not best friends. I get the handshake thing, and from an optics standpoint, it looks horrible. The worst thing you can do in this market is feed a narrative in this market, and the narrative all off season, and both of them know it, and you can't tell me they both knew it, that they don't like each other. And what they both did last Thursday was feed into the narrative. And guess what? It got covered up last Thursday. It got covered up Saturday. And it got covered up Sunday. And then when they started losing to the Cardinals, who have won their first 2 series of the year against the Rays and the Red Sox and the Mets, they've looked very good. Obviously, JJ Weatherholt, he was kind of on base all series. He looked very good. I think he got the game-winning hit, the flip hit. And evidently, Lindor scored the most runs. He's just been a complete nothing. Like I said, Roberts leading the team in on base, Soto in slugging, and OPS, and hits. The Mets offense has been limp. They've been nothing. Their offense is way too weak at times. And this is often a big blow on the Yankees. And I'll get into them in a minute because their offense hasn't been, I mean, it hasn't been as bad as this, but it hasn't been great. I'll get to them. But I thought the Met offense without Alonso and Nimmo and McNeil was supposed to be this new offense, less, homer, Bichette more doesn't drive the ball as much. He gets hits and slaps hits, but he can't play defense. And Polanco can't play defense, and he doesn't have a position. And Simeon doesn't hit anyway, even though he plays defense well. He doesn't hit. So David Stearns is off season right now, and Luke Weaver and Devin Williams, the early returns are very good on both of them. Luke Weaver, he did pitch today, by the way. Luke Weaver is very good. I've always liked him. I wanted the Yankees to get him back. Obviously, that didn't happen. Devin Williams, he did not have a good year last year, even though I think he got unlucky at times. I think there were games where he deserved better from either the umpire calls, which would have been remedied by this ABS system. And there were other things last year that he from day one where he got booed on opening day, even though he got the save, he just never clicked in New York, or with the Yankees, I should say. And you feel bad. Speaking of ABS, the Mets right now rank. The Mets are not in the top of the league in ABS challenges. I want to view the detailed leaderboard here. Now, out of 30 teams, the Mets rank 14th in offensive challenges. Okay. They've gained -1 runs based on this. They have challenged 2, and they have lost 2. On offense. Now, on pitching or fielding, it says, because it's pitching and catcher. The Mets rank 11th. Okay. They have gained 0.3 runs. They have challenged 5 and won 4, so an 80% clip. Okay. So ABS is not, horrific for them. That's good, and they're going to get better. And I think Alvarez is a very good defensive catcher who knows how to use a challenge. So I don't think ABS will be a problem for them. Let's flip over to the Yankees. Enough with the Mets. They'll head to San Francisco. We'll do a recap maybe Sunday or probably not Sunday. Definitely not Sunday. We'll do a recap at some point next week on that series. We might do once a week where we break down both. There's not too much to break down from opening weekend. They crushed the Pirates. They looked better in that series, certainly, than they did in the St. Louis series. I don't know if it was being on the road. I don't know. I mean, it was warm in St. Louis, so I can't even say it was cold in St. Louis. And that today they played the last 2 games of the series. They played like they didn't care. But it's too early to really tear into them. If we're seeing the same story in about 3 weeks and it's April 25th and the Mets are 500 a couple games, or give or take, or game 2, yeah, we're going to tear into them a little bit more because it's pathetic. And let's get to the Yankees. They open the season on the West Coast. They go 5-1 against the Giants and Mariners. That's good. They lost game 1 against the Mariners. They got walked off by Cal Raleigh. Okay. So let's break that down. Their offense didn't hit against Logan Gilbert, which is a normal common theme. If you go back into his game logs against the Yankees, he's always handled the Yankees very, very well. This is known. Um, so that was something. Didn't love it. And then the Yankees tied the game on a sac fly. Boone used his bench. And then because Ryan Weathers only went 4 1/3 innings, he threw a ton of pitches. He gave up a run, but he threw a lot of pitches. The Yankees then had no choice but to go into their bullpen. And they didn't want to use Camilo Doval for more than one up. They didn't want to use Fernando Cruz for more than one up. So they were in trouble in that way. So they ended up with Paul Blackburn. Now, you can argue that they could have gone to Ryan Yarbrough to neutralize Raleigh. Fine. And we saw that again today with the Bednar, the single off Bednar, which, I mean, we'll get to a little bit more of that. I'm not going to go too into it because I think he got a little shafted there. The Yankees have allowed 6 runs in their 6 games. They've shut the teams out 3 times. Today, they allowed 3 runs, a season high. Some teams are I mean, the Mets scored total 5 runs in their series. Like that's where we are. The Yankees have not allowed a home run. Imagine that. 6 games, 2 ballparks. I get they're hair ballparks. No home runs. And I have to check the StatCast numbers. I don't even know if there was a ball daring to be a home run. Okay, Cleveland just went up 4-0 over the Dodgers on a J-Ram homer. I gotta go down to the Yankees. I don't even know if there was a ball off the bat of Seattle that was daring to be a home run. Paul Goldschmidt had 2 balls that were going to be home run. No, that was Ben Rice. Certainly not today that there were any balls daring to be home. Wait, hold on. Canzone and Rayleigh each have one that would have been Crawford box home runs, which I guess we have to count for optics. Okay, so 2 Crawford box home runs. All right, let's go to yesterday. I'm just doing the Seattle series. And the way I'm going to do this is if they were home runs in half the ballparks in baseball, then I'm going to say, like, okay, that's daring a home run. A Crawford box home run is kind of like a short porch home run where it's like, okay, the weather and you got to be there kind of thing. Nope. None of them at all in game 2 even dared. In game 1. Let's go to game 1. None of them. Wait, hold on. Oh, I'm getting confused because it's counting because of the time change. Okay, this there, and there were none in game 1 daring to be home runs. So the Yankees didn't even give up warning shot home runs in this series. Like they're pitching they're pitching over their heads. Okay, they're pitching very over their heads. And it's going to come down to earth at some point. It's got to, right? I mean, I know Schlittler and Fried are good. I don't know if they're this good, where they're not giving up runs. I mean, Schlittler today was cruising the whole night. I mean, he was dominant, and it was effortless. He had a stranglehold on that offense. He was just pumping strikes. And the reason he got pulled is because he had a pitch count because of the slow buildup between 75 and 80. So they pulled him at 77. If this is a month from now and he pitched like that today, he might have gone the distance. He might have thrown 105 pitches and shut them out. He was that good. He was really good. He struck out 7, but he wasn't relying on the strikeout. He was hit it and get me out. And the difference with this, and I'll contrast this with Kirby's performance because Kirby was very good. Kirby was good today. But what happened? What plagued him in that sixth inning? He walked Rice and he walked Grisham, and then he gave up the home run to Goldschmidt. So those two free passes, which Schlittler hasn't given up a walk in a game that counts since last September. Those two pitches, those two walks came back to haunt him. And those ended up being the two deciding runs. If that's a solo home run by Goldschmidt, they could still be playing. Those were the two deciding runs in the game. The Yankee bullpen looks okay. I mentioned Blackburn on Monday. I'm not in love with him. I'm not in love with that experience. Yarborough and Winquist are the only two to not get into game action on the road trip. To me, the Yankees could have spent a little bit more money on their bullpen in the offseason or made a trade. And I posted this on social and then was told that the Yankees have the best bullpen in baseball. The Yankee bullpen hedges on one person. It's Camilo Doval. And we saw today what can happen if he doesn't have his A++ stuff. Now, I think they should have let Doval face Raleigh because I think the way Duvall's sinker plays against Raleigh, I think that would have been the choice because David Bednar was definitely fatigued in the ninth inning. And I think that he looked fatigued in the ninth inning, and they got the door closed, but he threw 40 pitches in an inning and a third. That's a lot. It's a lot for a closer. He gave up one earned run, and that was in the ninth inning, which McMahon should have caught that ball, and that would have helped him, and the game would have been over a lot quicker. So we need more of Camilo Doval throwing strikes and less of him throwing balls. And could today have just been mislocation? Could it have been fatigue? Could it have been, this is his fourth game in his fourth outing in 6 games? I don't know. Obviously, tomorrow's an off day. We'll probably see him. We'll definitely see him over the weekend, probably Friday. I'm not going to give up on Duvall. It's way too early. I think David Bednar's very good. The insurance run by Rice, I think, sealed the deal today. And Rice has been just phenomenal. Him and Stanton are the hottest hitters. And Bellinger. Those three have been very good. Judge is on another slow start. He's a bit behind. He's just a bit behind on some pitches. His at-bats have not been very good. He's striking out way too much. I'm not going to sit here and say Aaron Judge is horrible, that he's never going to have a hit again. He's going to come into the Yankee Stadium on Friday. I advise fans not to boo him because that's not going to do any good. And he's going to be more comfortable at home. And as the Yankees continue to play, I mean, look at how many off days they've had in the first week. Judge is a guy who counts on consistency, consistent at-bats. Not many off days. They've had 1, 2, 3 tomorrow, right? Hold on. They had the Friday, they had Sunday, they have tomorrow, and I believe they have next Thursday. I think is the other off day. They've had a lot of off days early. Let's see. Oh no, they have Monday. They have Monday off. Yep. 1, 2, 3. They have 4 off days in the first 2 series. And then on the 7th, they play every day from the 7th through the 19th. In that time, they play the Athletics, who are horrible, the Rays, who look like crap, the Angels, who have been okay, but the Yankees should kill them, and then the Royals, who, could screw around and win. They're scrappy. And then they have an off day before they head up to Fenway, Houston, and Texas. The point is, look for Judge to get into a groove by starting Tuesday. Because if he's playing 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13 games in a row, You can only hold him down for so long. He's gonna break out of this and rather quickly. Like you started to see the signs of it today, where it was less of the strikeout today and more of like he was getting fly balls that he's just missing on. That's normally when you know he's getting closer to figuring this out. But now in races by the off day, he's getting close, and he'll be fine. Once he clicks, this lineup, it's going to be something. I mean, I don't know how you navigate this lineup, especially with their success on ABS, which we'll get to. The Yankees have been the best team in baseball in terms of ABS challenges. They are 4-0 on offensive. This has to be fixed because they did. Oh, they're 4 Wait, hold on. Okay, yeah. The Yankees are. This is right. Are 8-2 on offensive challenges. The two losses were from Caballero on last Wednesday and Chisholm today, both on a lower pitch. And then they are 4-0 on fielding challenges. It's flipped 2 strikeouts. They have gained a half of run. Okay. They've gained a half a run on offense, which is the most in baseball from their challenges so far. An 80% overturn clip with the amount of challenges they've done is the best in baseball. They have flipped at-bats into walks. They have flipped at-bats out of strikeouts, 3 of them. This can all be tracked on Baseball Savant. They do a really good job. They have been really good. What's this? They have only taken 33% of reasonable challenge opportunities, meaning pitches that are fringe pitches that let's waiver and challenge. They've only taken 33% of them. They've challenged 80% of pitches that they should. That's really good. So they're using this tool. And still Aaron Boone finds a way to bitch at the umpires and scream and yell and fee-fi-fo-fum. They look really good. And now we see the season getting off to a start now. The Red Sox are 1-5 and look horrific. The Blue Jays just lost 2 out of 3 to Rockies. They are really banged up. They're really banged up. Cody Ponce went down probably with an ACL injury or an Achilles injury, one of the two. He's banged up. They're a really banged up squad right now. So the Yankees now need to take advantage. Boston's lacking something. Their pitching is not good. Crochet was horrific today. Ranger Suarez wasn't good the other day. Brian Bale looked like a mess yesterday. Their defense is lost. The Orioles don't do anything that impress you, and Zach Eflin's going on the injured list. Zach Eflin previously had the Yankees number. He's going on the injured list. Advantage Yankees. Shane Baz has always struggled against the Yankees, so advantage Yankees there. But there's a real opportunity, and a lot of people think the Yankees win the AL East. I do. I think the Yankees are the best team in the American League. And they just proved it because the other team people were saying, oh, the Mariners and the Yankees are right there. Well, the Yankees just took 2 of 3 against the Mariners. They out-hit them. They out-pitched them by a mile. They outscored them. They lost the first game on walk-off fashion because the second to last arm of your bullpen was on the mound in the 9th inning. And then you won the next 2 games. And not against scrub pitchers. Not Logan Gilbert. Who was yesterday? Luis Castillo. No, yesterday was Logan Gilbert. Luis Castillo was game 1. Yesterday was Logan Gilbert, and today was George Kirby. Gilbert and Kirby normally have the Yankees number a little bit, and the Yankees did well against them and got first inning runs and never looked back. And then they sent Schlittler and Fried to the mound. It was a win. You lost the first game and won 2 in a row to win the series against a playoff team, against a team that is probably going to be your matchup in the ALCS. If I had to guess right now, and I said at the beginning of the season, it'd be Yankees, Mariners, ALCS, and the Yankees win. because you were able to do well against their lineup today. Now, who knows? They'll click at some point. Julio Rodriguez, I don't think had a hit in the series, maybe one hit. Cal Raleigh had like 2 hits in the series today, and both of them scored runs in big spots. But their offense was not great. I mean, Donovan was on base. Donovan and Cole Young were on base the whole series. That bottom of that lineup got the Yankees, and obviously Young with the 10 pitch at bat to end the game. But then Jazz Chisholm, I mentioned before, with the space cadet play that needs to stop. I know he wants his 50-50. That's fantastic. Let's get a home run. You have 2 stolen bases and stood there between first and second base today trying to put your mitt on and didn't know what was going on. And that costed the Yankees a run. Or could have costed the Yankees a run. But they won today, so it's less of a microscope. It's more of a footnote in the loss. And it is a note. I don't want to take that away because I know I did a little bit on Lindor with getting the pretty much the same play, costing the Mets the eventual winning run. I don't want to make it look like I'm sacrificing Lindor but not Chisholm. Jazz often plays like a space cadet where his mind isn't fully there. He hasn't looked great offensively in the early goings. He'll attribute that to the cold and he'll get going. I'm not worried. I'm not worried about the Yankee offense at all. I'm not really that worried about the Met offense. I think the Met offense will get going at some point. But I think once Judge starts to hit, you'll see it becoming tougher and tougher and tougher for the pitchers. Chisholm hits around Judge. If Judge is constantly on base, pitchers are going to try and be too perfect, and he'll get something to hit. We're going to see that probably in the Marlins series. And they're 4-2. They look really good. 4-2 or 5. They're 5-1 as well, I think. The Marlins are 5-1. They look pretty good to start here. They're coming to the Bronx. I'll read the probables. The graphic itself will be up on socials on Friday morning. Actually, no, they'll be up tomorrow. I'll do them tomorrow because I think I'm going to the game Friday. I think I'm doing Friday, Saturday. Will Warren and Erie Perez, Ryan Weathers against Max Meyer, Max Fried against Chris Paddock. Those are your pitching probables in all 3 advantage Yankees. Obviously, Ryan Weathers was the Marlin. Will Warren has never started against the Marlins. No. He's never. What was that Marlins series? No, he has not. And Max Fried did not start with against the Marlins with the Yankees. But the season's off to a flying start here. And anything else notable? No. Okay. That's going to do it. So both teams head off. The Yankees are coming home. Home openers Friday. The Mets are heading out to San Francisco. They will play tomorrow night. Late night baseball in San Francisco, one of the most beautiful ballparks in baseball. So I want to thank you all for watching. Please subscribe. Read my columns. Follow me on socials. And have a great day. And let's win. Let's have a winning week as a city. Let's have a winning week as a baseball city.